My name is David Daniel Ball, and these are the headlines for Saturday, the 14th of February, 2009. 50 dead as passenger plane crashes into U.S. House. Bushfire still burning in Victoria. House approves Obama stimulus package. Fosters lays off volunteer firefighters. China cracks down on local journalists. 13-year-old father keen to be a good dad. Arson and child porn. Man charged over deadly bushfire. PM heaps praise on Xenophon for agreeing to the stimulus package. Man tries to kill himself with a brown snake. Is Koala Sam a fraud? And in comments, how to get bullied at school. It's tough to avoid getting beaten up at school, but some kids don't even try. Tim Brunero explains. Like comedy, that piece. He doesn't actually say anything worthwhile. Shambolic stimulus set to stagger through. The stimulus package is a shambles, but it looks like it's going to blunder across the line, according to Alan Jones. A little bit prescient there, Alan? That's exactly what happened. World destroyed, mostly, by Tim Blair. Actress Janine Garofalo offers a few thoughts on conservatives. Their policies have destroyed us and most of the world. That's a fact, not an opinion. Garofalo's definition of destroyed might not match anything in dictionaries, nor might her definition of fact. Their policies of deregulation, preemptive strikes, unmitigated support for Israel to the detriment of the Israelis, Palestinians, Americans, the British, every single policy that conservative Republicans have put forth since Reagan has destroyed us. Didn't Reagan have something to do with ending the Cold War? That seems contrary to conservative aims of global ruin. Janine can't see the inside of people's brains. To pick another example from Garofalo's list of destruction, imagine how her own life might be slightly poorer if movie distribution and sales weren't largely deregulated. And we affect most of the world, so why do they tell us to get a say? That's what blows my mind. It's almost like self-flatulation or masochism in some way. Self-flatulation? As accurate as this stunning new term is in describing Garofalo's logical processes, credit for it should probably go to the interview transcribers at echorazi.com rather than Janine. That site needs more regulation. The reason a person is conservative, Republican, is because something is wrong with them again. That's science, that's neuroscience. You cannot be well-adjusted, open-minded, pluralistic, enlightened, and be a Republican. It's counterintuitive, and they revel in their anti-intellectualism. They revel in their cruelty. Everybody needs a hobby. First, you have to be an asshole, and then comes the conservatism. You gotta be a dick to cleave onto the ideology. Forget ideology, Garofalo has a problem with basic anatomy. Which particular body part are we meant to be? Next, our dick-ass political theorist discusses Sarah Palin. There's definitely something wrong with her. She's lacking in so many areas. It really is neuroscience. I truly believe that it has something to do with their limbic brain. I really believe that some people's limbic brain dominates more than others. Our limbic brain controls all our emotions, and it causes us to be irrational. Our limbic brain goes into action when we're ecstatic, frightened, when we're having sex. I really believe that if a neuroscientist examined the brain of somebody who's identified as a conservative, they would find it's wired differently. I met Garofalo in Boston a few years ago. That's actually Tim Blair, not me. She was cute and talky, and we seemed to get along okay, but that was probably only due to me concealing all my severe limbic brain issues. Immunity words are deployed. Whenever you hear someone saying something like this, you know you're about to be gut shot with a load of global warming bull. Although any individual storm can't be linked singularly to global warming. That was Al Gore, who subsequently linked 3 individual storms to global warming. Foreign power attacks. This ought to help with our whole stimulus drive. Australia faces the prospect of paying an extra $870 million for greenhouse gas emissions after Kevin Rudd's ratification of the Kyoto Protocol and a new UN target for carbon pollution. Just cut them down. Peter Mitchell applied for permission a couple of years ago to remove some trees close to his property. Permission denied. On Saturday, his house burned down. Mitchell plans to rebuild, and this time he won't be bothering with any council permission nonsense. I'm just going to cut down the trees and push the perimeter back a bit more. If I build on the same place, I have to feel I'm going to be able to defend it and not play Russian roulette. Council reaction will be interesting. The Fires by Andrew Bolt. A cultural change is needed to save us. Australians living in the bush and in semi-rural suburbs must change the way they live or else risk dying in bushfires, according to the man leading the fight against the Black Saturday fires. Mouthed his silent thank yous and was gone by Andrew Bolt. Paul Toohey, a fine reporter deeply involved in Aboriginal issues, is invited for a chat by Australia's third taxpayer-funded TV network. The offer was too good to knock back. Fly from Darwin to Sydney, business class, stay at the Hilton 2 nights, and be a panellist on Jeffrey Robertson's hypothetical being filmed for National Indigenous Television and screening on NITV tonight at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. It's a must-read, real life as satire, and learn not just how NIT splashes cash, but how two of our greatest experts on Australian wickedness, Jermaine Greer and Jeffrey Robertson, get their material, or not. Save the planet, endanger the people. Nillumbikshire, one of the areas that suffered the worst casualties in these fires last year, explained why it wasn't keen on burning off the fuel piling up so lethally in its forests. Council believes there should be consideration of greenhouse gas pollution produced from undertaking such burns and the possible contributions to climate change. There may be alternative methods for reducing fire risk to assets such as sensitive slashing or fine fuel removal in firebreak areas. Months later, Victoria's bushfires have released a massive amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, almost equal to Australia's industrial emissions for an entire year. This madness ends now. How dare you call us intolerant? One of the ways to rebut a criticism of your faith is to confirm it. The editor and publisher of The Statesman, a highly respected Kolkata-based English daily, have been arrested on charges of hurting religious feelings of Muslims because they printed a piece written last month by independent columnist Johan Hari. 4 years left for us, so after 2013 we can down tools. The planet will be in huge trouble unless Barack Obama makes strides in tackling climate change, says a leading scientist. New South Wales government claims credit for sea kitten attacks. The New South Wales government finally managed to do something right. Primary Industries Minister Ian MacDonald notes that there are now more sea kittens off Sydney and boasts the build-up of numbers has been an objective of the government. Her police, her right, Russ Hinds would have understood. Police Minister Judy Spence has admitted pressuring police to carry out a pre-election crime crackdown in her southern Brisbane electorate. Ms. Spence yesterday insisted she saw no problem with calling in Queensland's top cop and one of his lieutenants for a meeting last week to seek action against anti-Asian summer crime wave gripping her electorate. Doubt banned? Reader Tom asked the ABC to explain why it took down a poll that showed most respondents thought man-made global warming a myth. Bad mother wins compo for failing to love. Did these women want children or a political statement? A lesbian couple who said having 2 IVF babies instead of 1 damaged their relationship have won an appeal against their doctor and been awarded $317,000 in compensation. During the initial proceedings, the ACT Supreme Court heard that following the twins' birth, the mother had lost her capacity to love. The couple, whose combined income is more than $100,000, sought $398,000 from Dr. Armelin to cover the cost of raising one of the girls, including fees for a private Steiner school. Blessed twice over, and they sue. What kind of mother has love for one but none for two? And when do they tell one of the children that they were unwanted and caused their mother to stop loving? The court should have told them to grow up, get out, and act like real mothers. Not so sorry, really. Joel Gibson, the Sydney Morning Herald's Indigenous Affairs reporter, clearly wants to praise Kevin Rudd's apology for encouraging more whites to take the blame for black misery, thus ensuring we are closer friends than before. But there's an embarrassing problem in the statistics that mystifies him. A crucial difference in attitude after last year's apology is that 63% of us now accept that the race-based policies of yesteryears continue to affect some Indigenous people today.